Video games first hit the market in 1972. The game was an electronic table tennis game created by Nolan Bushnell, and it was called Pong. Video games have grown incredibly since then. In the 1990s, violent video games began to hit the market. By 1999, after the Columbine shootings, people began to worry that violent video games led to youth violence. The question I'm here to answer today is, do violent video games really contribute to youth violence? I believe that violent video games do not contribute to violent behavior in our youth. In fact, I believe that these games can actually have some benefit for children. The two things that I'm going to discuss today are, one, there's not been a causal link between violent video games and violent behavior. And the second thing I want to point out is how these games can actually have some benefits for children. Discussing my first point, a causal link between violent video games and violent behavior has not yet been proven. Yes, there has been over 300 studies done of media violence, but most of these studies are inconclusive and many have been criticized for their design flaws. As Henry Jenkins mentions in the book Taking Sides, many of these studies do not create the same environment kids typically play their video games in. There's also a flaw that children only are given clips of these violent scenes instead of seeing the entire context of the story. The claim that violent video games attribute to violent juvenile crime falls when you look at how violent juvenile crime in the U.S. has been declining over the years. In fact, they've been declining as violent video game popularity has increased. The arrest rates for juvenile murders has fallen 71.9% since between 1995 and 2008. The arrest rate for all juvenile violent crimes has declined 49.3%. These numbers have fallen while video game sales have more than quadrupled. These statistics and the lack of conclusive results shows that violent video games does not have a direct correlation to youth violence today. In fact, I want to go to my second point, which I want to talk about how video games can actually have some benefits for children that are being overlooked. Playing violent video games provides a safe outlet for aggressive and angry feelings. In a 2007 study, there was reported that 45% of boys playing video games did it because it allowed them to release their anger. 62% of these children played video games because it helped them relax. Violent video games also provides a healthy and safe opportunity for children to virtually explore rules and consequences of violent actions without real-world consequences. And that today answers the question that I brought to you today. Do violent video games contribute to youth violence? No, they do not. In fact, these violent video games can actually have some positive benefits for children today.